Welcome back to the Quiet Storm Collective, where we create a space for real stories, real healing, and real purpose. I'm your host, LaToya Murchison. Today's conversation is one that holds beauty, truth, and transformation all in one. I'm honored to be joined by LeAudrey Arnold, salon owner, master style cosmetologist, transformational storyteller, and founder of Selah Beauty. Welcome, LeAudrey. How are you?
Thank you, thank you. I'm honored to be here, girl. I'm honored to be here. It's great. It's great.
Thank you for accepting the invitation.
Yes, ma'am.
You've spent 30 years in the beauty industry, but you work closely. You work you Your work clearly goes far beyond hair and aesthetics. When
Hmm.
people walk into Selah Beauty, what do you want them to feel before anything else happens?
An experience, an experience like no other, because in the Black community, most salons and so it's either in your kitchen, your basement, or in a building that just I'm honestly just thrown together because I work there. I'm not judging it or anything like that, but I had to learn from that. And what I wanted people to feel is at home, comfortable, because their money and their mindset mattered. And so that whole experience was everything to me. It's everything to me, even to this day. Even 30 years and plus. I mean, I still believe that when you walk into a place, you should be greeted, and I don't care who you are. Whether you my client or not. So yeah, experience.
Okay. The name Selah is powerful. It suggests pause, reflection, and presence. How did the name come to represent your vision of beauty, meeting healing and restoration?
Well, as you'll learn in this podcast later on, I got that name and that vision when I was incarcerated. Um, I remember reading the word because that's all I had. You know, um, God had to remove me from the very things I was so used to, and with me doing that, I had to look for something. And what I've been grounded in since I was a young girl, I was raised in the church. So the one thing my mom kept telling me, just read your Bible, just read your Bible. I'm like, that ain't gonna set me free. That's what I was thinking in my head until I opened it up and not realizing it was the beginning of something. I got into the book of Psalms, and I think it was David that was praising, you know, um, and I can't remember what the scripture is, but I think it's in 36, and it says something about being forever praised. And at the end of that um, scripture, it said Selah. So for us to pause and reflect on what was just said and what was just done and what's getting ready to come. And that name for some reason stuck with me. And I wrote a blueprint around it. If I ever owned my own salon, if I ever did anything, I was going to put that on everything. But then there was a little voice that used to tell me all the time, like, nobody want to hear that stupid name. That who going if they ask you what you gonna say to them. But I never listened to that voice. I went ahead with it, whether it sound crazy or not. I did it anyway. So
It's a great name. It's different and it sets you apart from
yeah,
others.
yes.
Your journey includes overcoming trauma, addiction, incarceration, and deep struggles with self-worth. When you look back at your earlier versions of yourself, what do you wish she knew that you know now?
Um, that you didn't have to do this alone.
Mm.
It was okay to talk even if nobody was listening. Um, what I know now for then, I probably would have told her it's okay. You're not by yourself. You're not the only one that makes mistakes. But what you do with it is what matters. So yeah, definitely.
Definitely. Many women carry silent stories while still showing up for others every day. How do you learn to surviving in silence and start telling your story out loud?
Hmm. One, I had to understand that sometimes we create trauma bonds. We create trauma bonds what feels comfortable, because even in the silence is dangerous.
Mhm.
Silence is so dangerous, especially if you don't have the tools to come out of it.
Right.
So what could look like you're helping someone along the way could be hindering yourself and them as well, because I've done that too. I've made promises that I could not keep, just for the sake of helping someone, and couldn't understand why they weren't appreciative of it. So silence can be very deadly. While you're smiling and helping people, making sure they're good, you're not good. Same way on the airplane, honey. They tell you when you put that mask on, put it on you first.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? Before you try to attach it to somebody else. I had to learn that. Every lesson in life, you're going to have to go through the test before you understand the assignment. Because if not, you're slowly but surely killing yourself. That's real talk,
Yes, it is.
So, yeah, yeah.
Wow. That's a very powerful statement. That sounds like a quote to me that you need to make for yourself and start sharing with others.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You just you describe yourself as a transformational storyteller. When did storytelling become a part of your healing and not just something you share with others?
Girl, I'm kind of comical. So first of all, start with me telling lies, okay? And you know what? And telling lies sometimes will get people's attention, but you get the wrong attention. You
Mhm.
know what I'm saying? So it was like, well, what if I told exactly how I felt? And I think a lot of times, I can only speak for myself. We would tell people a story, which in most times the story means it's a lie. We would tell it because we want the instant gratification of the reaction of what someone is giving us, right?
Mhm.
So I learned how to really start meditating on that, because now I had to show up for the lie. Now I had the nerve to be mad because you didn't believe the lie. You know what
Mm.
I'm saying? So the storytelling part was a thing of that's all I knew how to do until I knew how to do something better. And now with me telling my story, I don't have to add and take away, because I'm not proving anything to anybody. I'm not. I'm proving, like I said, it's always me versus me. And then
Right.
the integrity part is, what are you doing when ain't nobody watching? What are you doing? What are you doing, LeAudrey?
Mhm.
You know, I've had to have that conversation with myself. And healing is ugly. Healing is messy, because all the things you used to think that you told or said has to be redirected somewhere else and bring in the truth, you know. So the storytelling part was just me understanding that my voice mattered. If nobody else's did, mine mattered. And if it meant for me to go in and say I'm sorry for even saying those things to you, then I'll do it. You might forgive me, you might not, because what you think of me at this time in life is none of my business.
I
Okay.
like that.
Yeah.
Definitely. Because at the end of the day, you can't change what they think. You can only say what you feel, what you have to say, and let them go with it.
That is it. That's it. That's it.
Your memoir, I'm Whispering as Loud as I Can, is such a striking title. What does that whisper represent, and why was it important for you to finally let it be heard?
The whispering part was and it goes back to I'm not trying to make my story light or anybody else's, but I just know mine.
Mhm.
The whispering part comes from when you're abused, okay? Whether it's mentally, physically, sexually, it all comes from that. And what happens is you want to say something to somebody, but you're scared. You want to tell somebody something, but you're scared because you don't know how they're going to react. You don't know how they're going to look at you or view you. And a lot of us who are not in the healing state are scared to death to be by ourselves, right? So I had to think about it. I'm like, man, I really need to talk. I did a lot of talking to myself, a lot. And then one day I got to a place where I was like, if I don't say something, this road that I keep going down, making these choices, is not going to end pretty. So the whispering part was a part of silence, you know. And now I'm whispering it, knowing that I've always whispered. Now I'm whispering as loud as I can. This is as loud as I'm going to get. And sometimes it's just telling my story. So, yeah.
Can you share a passage from your book with us?
Yeah. There's a passage I really want to share. It's two of them. Um, hold on, let me see. No, I think it's just one. Okay. This is at the forward. This is in the beginning. It says, I've spent most of my life whispering, hoping someone would hear me without me having to say the words out loud. But whispering gets lost in the noise, don't they? Especially when the noise is your own pain, your own shame, your own past echoing in the mid in your mind like a broken record. It is not the kind where the hero rides off into the sunset with all the answers. No. This is the story of a woman who learned that healing does not come neatly packaged. It comes in waves, some days gentle, some days strong enough to drown you. As far back as I can remember, I was 6 years old and the world felt both enormous and small. I lived in Dublin, Virginia, on a street called Baskerville, where cousins lined either side of the road, and every day was a new adventure. We built forts, climbed trees, ran barefoot down the streets in packs, and stole grapes, cherries, apples, and plums from the neighbors' yards. We argued, we fussed, we fought, and then we went right back to playing. That was life. That was normal. I did not notice the adults around me they had little compassion. They expected obedience, not understanding. Stay in your place, they said. I didn't understand what that meant. I only knew how to play, to laugh, to live in the sunlight of childhood into the day that everything changed.
Mm, definitely a book to read, and it's going to be a blessing to so many people.
Yes. Yes.
Writing a memoir requires honesty and vulnerability. Was there a moment during the writing process when you had to pause and choose courage over comfort?
I have to read that. Yes, it was. To my daughters,
Mm,
I'm sorry. I'm sorry for choosing men over you, for being there but not present, for protecting others while forgetting how badly you needed me to fight for you, for letting my pain be louder than your voice. I see now how many times you must have felt invisible, how many times I missed the look in your eyes that said, Mama, I need you. You were just girls trying to grow, while I was a broken woman trying not to fall apart. This is not your fault. You deserve better. You still, and still you love me. Still you smiled when I came through the door. Still you called me mama with hope in your voice. I did not take that lightly. I cannot rewrite those years, but I can tell you the truth now. I always loved you, even when I couldn't love myself.
how did your daughters feel when you started writing your book and they read that message to them?
They haven't read it. They said they don't want to. They've seen it. They support me and everything, but they've seen, you know. I'm
Yes.
realizing that my girls are healing in their own way, which
Mm,
we all had that chance to do it. Nothing fast, nothing slow. We heal in our own ways, and I respect that so much. I no longer try to make them think I'm sorry, mama, sorry, mama, sorry for I had to stop doing it because they're like, mama, stop, okay, it's done,
right.
um, speaking with them and talking to them. It's like almost like right now God is saying, here, I hand you your two best friends,
Mm,
because I chose to listen instead of explain myself away.
right.
And listening sometimes hurt because you hurt the ones you love. And with them telling you you're hurt or how you hurt them, it's not easy to listen to. without trying to over explain yourself, you know. And I chose to listen. And there's days I still like, if I could have done something different, if I could have done something better. And they know when I go through that, they're like, Mama, what is it? What's going on, lady? What, you know? But I'm grateful for those girls, and they haven't read the book. They chose not to, and I'm okay with that. They seen what happened, you
Right.
know. But they also seen the strength in me too. They seen me get up and go, never in the gutter. I might look like I was walking in it at one time, but they always seen me come out of it and say, okay, I'm not doing this no more. They have seen that. So
That's a blessing to still have their love through everything. And I know that's what a party is part of what keeps you going each day.
most
And
definitely.
that you still have your baby. Even though
Woo.
they're grown, you still have your
They're
babies.
my babies right there. They're my babies. Yes, yes, yes.
Faith plays a role in your story of restoration. How did your relationship with God shift as you moved from brokenness into clarity and confidence?
Okay. I am now at a place in my life where being raised in the church and holding on to God's unchanging hand, as they would tell us, you know, and sing the hymns and everything like that, I had to start chewing on the meat of the word. I could not sip at the milk anymore because now I'm a grown adult. Now I have to find out things for myself. And I've said this in some of my little inspirational videos. I'm like, you cannot ride the skirt tails of everybody else in salvation. You have to find out for yourself. Um, I'm learning more and more that I matter. I am the apple of Yahweh's eye. Even in my book, I didn't put a whole lot of stuff in it about church and things other than my experiences. But what I wanted to walk away with is the people know that he was always there, even when I didn't think he was, because my journey is personal with him. For the longest time, I thought I was by myself through this whole thing, and when clarity came, that's when I started realizing that he'd been there the whole time, and he's a perfect gentleman. He's not gonna force himself on you. Because once you get to, it's Bible, the Bible to me means basic instructions before leaving Earth. You know, I had to get it for myself. I mean, I had some great leaders in my life, my pastors, first ladies. I've had some amazing leaders in my life, people who've shown me the way, but I had to pick it up for myself to find out the path I had to go on. So when I started realizing that first about purpose is nothing that I have to reach after. Purpose is living through me. It's me, how I treat myself, and me, how I treat others. That's purpose. I want to be dripping with the fruits of the spirit. I mean dripping with it. Because now I understand it. I'm not so much like, well, what does that mean? I now understand everything ain't meant to know, you know, because we'll get caught up in religious stances. And I don't want to do that because um, me still trying to put down what I was taught at one time and not put it down like I don't want to think about it no more, but me picking up some reality for myself. So it played a big part in me trusting Yahweh in my walk, in my talk, and what's in front of me. And I no longer rely on that toxic version of what Lee said or how Lee went about it. I'm starting to rely solely on the word. My favorite verse is Jeremiah 29:11. For I know the plans I have for you. I know them. You don't know them, but I know them. When I created you, you were not a mistake. You know, I created with the purpose, you know, and leaning not on, and in Proverbs, lean not on my own understanding. I leaned so much on my understanding. What I had to understand was my understanding then was broken understanding. So I chose out of the hurt and the pain, what's familiar, until I understood that I could no longer lean on that, you know? So yeah.
In your salon chair, women often open up in ways they don't anywhere else. What have those moments taught you about the hidden battles of women?
One, everybody has a story. Everybody. Ain't nothing special about mine. All it is, mine is just a tool to open up for other women to say, okay, Lee, I don't want to ever be put up on no pedestal as if I have it all together, because I do not. But when I do talk to the ladies, I do create a safe space. You would never hear none of their stories outside of that salon, because what goes on in here stays in here, and I've heard some stories. I've heard some stories. But what I had to learn in all of that is that my job is not to fix anyone, but to be present. To be present, you know. And that's all any of us want, somebody to hear us and understand us. I don't co-sign bull crap. I don't mail bash. I don't do none of those things because it's not effective. It's just not effective. So I choose to sit in honesty. And that means if I have to peel back an onion part of myself to expose it so you can feel better, guess what? I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that. I know I still have some ladies still clutching their pearls over my stuff. You know what I'm saying? So, and they're thinking, Lord, Lee, I thought I had it bad, But I'm like, girl, you don't. And neither do I. But society and the world tells us different. And so I just want women to feel safe. Whether I see you next week, 2 weeks, a month, I'll never see you again.
Mm-hmm.
So.
You help women understand that their past does not define them. Healing does. What does healing look like in real life beyond inspirational words?
Messy.
Mm,
Messy. I ain't gonna sugarcoat that. Straight messy. Because what it is you're still trying to hold on to the old you because you thought it worked. The healing part is trying to tell you to let it go, but you can't trust the process. It looks messy. It looks so messy to the point where you're sitting around dazed and confused, trying to figure what is this? It's the beginning. It is truly the beginning of something beautiful. It really is. Because sometimes, girl, I lay in the bed, I'm thinking, you're really here, Lee.
right.
Because what used to grip me in fear no longer grips me in fear. It's still there. I think about it, but it doesn't have the grip and hold on me because I'm able to speak on it. I'm able um, to really understand that my life is something. Even if it ain't to nobody else, it is to me. Um, so yeah.
For someone who feels trapped by their past or ashamed of their story, what would you say to remind them that transformation is still possible?
And healing is still messy. That's what I'm gonna say. It's still messy because the bottom line is, in order to come out, it took you a minute to be there. It's gonna take you a minute to come out. Nothing's gonna happen overnight. It's just not. And of course, we live in a microwave society, no doubt about that. We want it quick, instant. But sometimes it can start as simple as even drugs and alcohol was my thing. Those people, places, and things need to switch.
Mm,
Because you keep showing up at the barbershop and sooner or later you're gonna get a haircut, right?
right.
Yeah. That's not being better than anybody, that's just being wise. That's it. It's being wise enough to understand I love the people I love, but some things I can't hang with. Because honey, I am not walking around like I ain't never done nothing wrong, but I don't never want to set myself up in a position where I can think about it.
Right.
Even though I know deep in my heart it would never happen, but I don't want to sit back and think about it and all of a sudden I start contemplating because it all follows through, and sometimes that's a lonely place to be.
Definitely.
It's very long. People think that, I've got this book, I'm talking on here, or I got the salon that I must have all these. I don't. I don't. I have my grandbabies. They call me Yaya. I have my daughters that think that they my mama. You know, I I have my boyfriend that just thinks the world of me. And that even right there is a story right there, because girl, you blink the wrong way to me, you gotta go. So yeah, tell it. It's okay, because you're not by yourself.
Mhm.
You're not. And I'm also learning that some things, being careful of what you say around people who are not going to be a positive impact in your life, that you have to be careful with that too. People can smile at you and tell you all day long, girl, I know that's right. And the whole time, listen to this girl. You don't need that. You don't need it. Be careful about who you speak to. The tongue is a powerful thing, very powerful. Which way you're going to use it? If you're knowledge enough or powerful enough to use it in the right direction, you can go far.
Mm.
And speaking on someone else's downfall is going to hit you before it hits them. Got to be careful of that. So letting women know that it's okay to speak, but be careful how you speak, because someone had to teach me that. Girl, because I told everybody my business. Let me tell you what, because I trying to prove to people I was a good girl. Man, don't
Right.
think of me like that. Come on now, I can, I just kept doing things over and over. Somebody said, "Lee, shut up. Quit telling people all your business." And one day, I did.
Mm.
So I couldn't get mad at stuff that wasn't coming back to me,
Right.
because I won't open up my mouth. Not like that. So now when I open up my mouth, a lot of it is to understand that I'm still a teacher and I'm still a student. Yeah,
I like that. Still a teacher and a student at the same time.
at the same time. Same time.
As you continue expanding Selah Beauty and sharing your memoir, what legacy are you most intentional about leaving for the women you come in contact with and those that come after you?
Um, the one thing I really want to leave, that come after me, that you know that you really matter. Your voice matters. And am I my sister's keeper? Yes, I am. I am. I am. And not everybody, but not everybody. Just like I used to tell a lot of the students, because I also had an apprenticeship program. I told some of the ladies, I was like, look, I can do hair, but I can't do everybody's hair, and that's real talk.
Mhm.
So when you're in that mode of being a hairdresser, are you actually doing it to appease people to make yourself look better? Are you doing it enough to where you can leave that legacy for somebody else? Because that's what has to happen, especially in this industry. I'm an old school. I've been to school. I went to beauty school back in 1988. 1988.
Wow.
And here I am. This is the only job I've ever had. I've fallen. I've gotten back up. I've been to rehab. I've been to jail. I've been to prison. Back and forth, back and forth. Still holding on tight to them scissors and them combs, girl. Still holding on tight. But here right now, getting ready to turn 60, it feels good. It smells good.
Mm.
I work smart. I don't work hard. But that had to come with um, learning lessons. It had to come with, I had to learn those lessons. I had to. And that legacy is understanding, yeah, you might fall and you might not. But if you do, there's tools
Mhm.
to help you keep going. So that legacy of having a clear understanding that you matter, no matter what your background is, no matter what you've done, you didn't do, or all the things that you did that you too scared to even talk about. Somebody else needs to hear that story, because somebody else is drowning too. So yeah, that legacy of just knowing, know that you know that you know.
Mm. Definitely. Before we close,
Hmm.
what is one truth you want every listener to carry with them after hearing your story?
There's strength in honesty. There's strength in openness. There's actually strength in vulnerability. I never thought that where I'm sitting right now, I would be talking online because I'm old school. Like we can have all this back then. You know what I'm saying? I never knew that. And now that I am in the position I'm in and understanding what I have, there's power in that and what I can do with it and use it for the good. If you ever go to any of my social medias, I'm not in there talking about nobody. I'm not saying, I'm not saying I'm better, but what I am saying is I'm always inspiring something or somebody because I know that was a need I needed when I was going through the depths of hell. And I didn't have that. I didn't have it. And so if I can make a difference with someone, if I can make sure that, that you matter, that you it's okay if you're thinking something and it's wrong, it's okay. But don't stay there. Find the answer out. If you don't have the answer, find it out. You know, this society has taught a lot of us how to hide things, wearing masks, um, being something that we're not because our traumatic childhood has taught us certain things that we're too scared to even talk about. And some mothers, I'm speaking to mothers out there that has left a traumatic thing on their kids, you know, and think that oh well they were little, they didn't understand. Yeah, they did.
Right.
Yes, they did. I understood clearly. Couldn't put my finger on it, but I understand clearly. So sometimes mothers or even caregivers or grandmothers that have taught that rigid teaching left scars when they thought it was going to discipline somebody. It left more scars than anything. So now we're raising a generational people like that. And now it's becoming filtered with add-ons instead of truth. And if we don't get the truth of understanding who we're and why we stand and saying just something simple as I'm sorry, I didn't know any better. Well, I will be more mindful. Can you help me with that? And the people that are receiving that will be hopefully hear it enough to say, okay, I'll try. You ain't got to forgive right away, but understand this clearly. Unforgiveness is like drinking rat poison, waiting for the rat to die. And it will kill you slowly. So that choice is yours. The choice is really yours, whether you're really ready to heal, whether you're ready to let it all go. And it comes in pieces. It's not all together. It's not all together. I'm still piecing stuff together. But hey, I'm learning to be a better woman for it, a better mother for it, a better yaya for it, a better friend for it, a better fiance for it, a better hairstylist for it, a better author for it. All of it, all lines up when you decide to open up and do something different. So, yeah.
Yes, ma'am. Speaking of social media, how can people connect with you and how can they purchase a copy of your book?
You can actually go to LeAudreyArnold.com. That's my website for the book. Or either you can text me, send me a message through Messenger. I have copies on hand that I can actually literally ship them to you whenever they come in, because one of the hardest things I'm having to do is order my books through Amazon. Amazon will, anyway, you can do it like that. Or come by the salon in Roanoke, Virginia. I have them there, and I have some at the Selah in Aberdeen, at La Parlor in North Carolina, Aberdeen, North Carolina. I try to keep a couple of them on hand. And someone asked me one day and said, Lee, I bet you're gonna make a bunch of money. You know what? When she said it, I looked at him like, we all think that, right?
Mm-hmm.
We really all think that, oh, this is gonna be it. But you know what it did for me? It made me realize who I really was. When I got to writing this book, and I'm gonna tell you, when my boyfriend was like, "Okay, Lee, I'm going to push the button," I was like, "No!" in slow motion because I'm like, I ain't ready to tell it. I ain't ready. Forget the money. I
Mm-hmm.
ain't ready to be exposed.
Right.
I don't want people to know I was on drugs and alcohol. I don't want people to know why I went to prison. I don't want people to know that.
Mm-hmm.
But then I had to hear a small, still voice. But they have to know
Mm-hmm.
because someone is drowning just like you are. you know so that's how they can get it, and I would actually literally ship it to you. um and the thing about it is, I love the fact that when people give me insight of what they thought about it, girl, I go back and read my book and cry all over again, like in my first time either writing it and reading it, because I
Mm-hmm.
realized this is deeper than what I could ever imagine.
Right.
It's deep, and I want people. I even had men buy it. I have a couple of men clients that I do barbering and some of them I do braiding on, and some of my girls that I work in the shop with. She has a male client, and he done bought 3 books off of me. I'm getting one for myself, my wife, and her sister. And it's like, wow, people are ready for truth.
Mm-hmm.
People are ready for truth. And I have one lady that told me, she says, well, um, she's I read the book and I don't know, I was expecting for you to get juicy. I was expecting for you to do all this. I says, well, I don't know. I'm not writing a riding dirty on 95 book. I'm not writing those type of books. I'm
Right.
writing truth because nobody needs make believe anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if that's what they want to read, that's their choice. I ain't here to gatekeep none of that. But what I was trying to put out there is the fact that somebody's hurting and they don't want to talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
Someone's hurting and they're tired of treating the children like crap. Somebody hurting and can't figure out why they feel the way they feel towards their family members. And it's all ACEs, adverse childhood experiences.
Mm.
Yeah, childhood trauma. We all were born with it. Girl, my nervous system was hijacked at birth. you know. So it's like when you come out, it's like, I mean, I don't remember me coming out, but I can only imagine all the things that was in front of me as things started unfolding. It was like, no wonder, I can't sit still. My nervous system is jacked up, you know, taking medicine for it, making sure I'm good, Then I had to find the right medicine work for me because if not, I'll be sitting around drooling somewhere. So it's like all of those things. When I say healing is messy, that's what I mean. You have to find what works for you. I'm just giving you a tool.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. Because you matter. You matter.
Definitely. What's next for LeAudrey?
Yeah, you're good. You're good. It's so crazy because everybody in North Carolina calls me LeAudrey, but they call me, my name is Lee. The nickname is Lee, but my first name is Esther. Go figure. But what's next for me is to be anxious for nothing.
I like that.
I've been anxious. Girl, I was in there cooking dinner the other night and I was flying through that kitchen. I had to stop myself. I said, what are you doing? I had to recognize that anxiety part of me. That most of the time when I did that, I'll pop a pill and calm down or whatever. No, now I'm at a place I'm recognizing it. And
Okay.
now I'm taking my time. Turn on my music. It's intentional now. So what's next for me is not being anxious for anything and understanding it's okay to make plans. Like I want to retire at 67. That's in 7 years.
Mm-hmm.
And with me retiring, I'm wanting to I've got like some goals. So my first year from 60 to 61, there are some things I want to do and to accomplish. I want to get some knowledge under my belt. I want to go to school, you know.
Okay.
Um uh I still wanted to revolve around Selah. I still wanted to revolve around helping women, young girls. Um, so I have to understand the material.
Right.
I don't want to just go out there and say, "Oh, I know this. I've arrived, now you just follow me." I'm not doing that. You
Mm.
know, getting high off my own story. Mm-mm, mm-mm, mm-mm. I gotta know. I gotta know what makes us tick. I gotta know and understand that, you know, there's a antidote. So yeah, getting some things underneath my belt to make this load light. You know, I at one point talked about doing like a mobile salon. I don't know. You know, I realize ain't nothing God can't do for me. Ain't no door God can't open.
Mm-mm.
You know, so I just got to make sure that it's intentional on my end and not be all over the place. And it's okay if I don't achieve this over here or this over there. It's okay if I stay focused what's in front of me and make sure it's digestible.
Mm.
Yeah. So that's it.
Lee, thank you for your honesty, your courage, and your commitment to help women rise not just beautifully, but wholly.
Yes.
Your story reminds us that healing speaks louder than our past ever could. To
Yes.
our listeners, thank you for joining us for another powerful conversation on the Quiet Storm Collective. Until next time, keep listening, keep healing, and keep showing up for your purpose. Have a good night.
Thank you. You too.